Hi lovely people, so today I am going to be showing you how to work cross stitch into crochet, and this is for my Hollypops CAL. It's a really simple little embroidery stitch, so for those of you that have never embroidered before, don't run screaming for the hills. This one's super easy. So just a little bit about cross stitch. Cross stitch basically works into a grid of squares. So what you have to do to set your crochet up is to work single crochet one side on the right side facing up, one side wrong side facing up, one side right side facing up. And you can see this then sets up this little grid of squares that you then stitch into. So you can see I've already worked 3 rows of single crochet onto this square, and I'm going to show you how to cross stitch. Now really, you shouldn't actually be cross stitching into a square, because when you reach the corners of your square, that little grid kind of falls away, so there isn't actually anything for you to work that final stitch in. But I liked it, and I don't mind a cheat here and there, so I'm just going to show you how to cheat those corners. Now what you can do, it does become a little bit tricky, especially when you're working in the same color yarn. You're basically going to be cross stitching over the central round of single crochet, so you can mark that round if you want to. Otherwise, if you find it tricky to locate, just remember to look for the little squares. Those are the squares that you're working into. That's what you need to look for. So cross stitch, unlike crochet, we don't work right to left. We are going to work left to right. So what I've done is I've just threaded some yarn onto a needle. I've made a tiny little knot just at the end of my yarn there, just to stabilize the yarn. And we are going to start on the left hand corner. So just pop that yarn through the back of your stitches. Oh dear. Oopsie. There we go, until you're into your corner spot. Just thread that through. Just don't pull too hard, just pull until you can feel that little knot catching in your thread, and then you are ready to go. So you're going to start by working only one direction of the cross. So we are going to start by working so from left to right, and you're going to start bottom, top, bottom, top. So you're going to insert your needle. Your first stitch, remember, you don't have that grid. So what I did is you can just pop that first stitch through the corner of the previous round. Just catch it through the fibers. That's how we're going to cheat that first stitch. Okay, now the other thing with cross stitch is you don't want to pull your threads too tight. It's kind of, so you can see I'm stitching opposite into that opposite top corner over there. So yes, I was saying you don't want to pull your threads too tight, because this will tend to make those stitches look ugly. You want to keep them sort of so that they're sitting flush on top of your work, but they're not scrunching up the crochet stitch underneath your work. So you can see how that's just popping from the bottom corner to the top corner, from the bottom corner to the top corner, and you just keep going all the way along until you've completed all the little stitches. You see we're working the first half of the cross now. Okay, and you just keep going bottom to the top, bottom to the top. This is super, listen to me, super easy little embroidery stitch, and it makes such a pretty little embellishment on a blanket. Okay, so I just want to show you what this looks like from the back. See, it makes a nice neat little line in the back of your work. Okay, so I'm just going to get to the other side of this square, so I can show you how to finish stitching that little cross stitch, because now we've only got half a cross going here. So what you're going to do when you're working a blanket like this, what I would suggest that you do is complete your blanket, or the sides of your blanket, one side by one side. Don't try and jump across and do all the lefts to right. I would do one side at a time and get that completed, and then end off and start on your next side. Okay, so I just want to get these stitches into the corner. You see how you just keep working into that little grid of squares that those holes make? So it's kind of easy to find which round you're working into. Okay, we're almost in the corner again. Let me just get there. Let's just do those last few stitches over there. We just need to cheat that one. That's our corner stitch. Okay, now we're going to finish our crosses, so we are going to work back in the opposite direction. So, bottom to top. Okay, and you just keep going. Look, there's our first little cross. You see how easy it is? It's a really, really easy little stitch. Nothing complicated about this one. It takes a little bit of time. It is a little bit time consuming. But doesn't that make the prettiest little embellishment for a crochet blanket that you ever did see? I think it's so cute. You see how those little crosses are starting to form now? Let's give you a nice close-up over there. And that is how you cross stitch onto crochet.